Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Mischief. Richie here, where I talk about my favorite thing in the entire world, goddamn cryptocurrency. That's right. Today we're talking about a project on the Binance Smart Chain that I've touched on quite a lot on this channel. We got into the first iteration of this called Mintstake Share on day one. Then we got into BookCoin, which is the second part of, this ecosystem, I'd like to call it, on day one. We got into Moon Yield, which was lending for Mintstake Share on day one. And now we're getting into BookUSD. That's right, on day one, baby. Today I'm going to be talking about the different strategies that I've seen around town for the launch of BookUSD. I'm going to explain what it is, in case you don't know. I'm going to explain what Book Token is. We're going to touch a little bit about Mintstake Share as well. All of these are different aspects of crypto I use for earning, passive income earning, meme coin speculation, and now lending and borrowing with Book Token. And the facts are, smart people in DeFi use lending to basically add leverage to their positions. Why, sell tokens when you could just use tokens as collateral and sell the collateral instead, essentially, right? BookUSD offers multiple ways to earn. Lots of strategies to talk about today. We'll talk about my strategies, also talk about the other strategies I've been seeing around town. Before we begin, something very important I want to tell you about, which is you should be liked and subscribed. Yeah, that's right. I went there. I did it. God damn, I did it. 29,673 subscribers on this channel. So, if you're watching and you're not subscribed on YouTube, take one moment and hit the subscribe. I want to hit 30K. It would make me extremely happy. 5 years we've been doing this. This is all organic, never paid for anything. So I'm pretty happy with this. And 30,000 was always the goal. So let's get to 30,000. Second thing is that we will be having a live stream tomorrow about Sui Network. And I know that you guys are pretty hot on Sui. I've been seeing a lot of interaction on my channel coming from Sui. So the live stream will be actually live streaming Twitter Spaces, which I'm involved with, called Sui Accelerator. And we do this every Thursday, right? That's right. At 6 p.m. Pacific. So lots of things to do. I'll be pretty active at that time, actually. But you can check that out. I'm going to be live streaming on my YouTube channel, and it will also be in X as well. And I'll link Sui Accelerator's X account, so you can check that out on launch at the same time. So that's pretty cool as well. As always with this channel, I will be publishing this video first on my DAO, which is the SCC DAO, which is unlocked through our NFT collection. So if you want the newest and fanciest Crypto Mischief news, then if you get in our Telegram, which is unlocked with these digital pieces of shit living on the internet, then you can buy one on Polygon chain. The floor at the moment is 0.0299 ETH, which is about $50, something like that. Then you can gain access to our Telegram server. It's a room with like 200, 300 people in it, and it's a safe place to talk about crypto. It's great. BookUSD then. BookUSD came from Mintstake Share's idea of opening a lending protocol. Mintstake Share is a passive income earning beast. Here I am on base chain. I have 4.3 million tokens here. I've compounded 100% because I'm a maniac, and I have $87 right now to compound to continue my dream to a max wallet of 20 million MSS. Now, there have not been many developments lately for Mintstake Share because the shine's been given to Book. Book is a project launched by the same dev as Mintstake Share, Mr. Aaron Shames. Hi, Aaron. How are you doing? And this will, of course, be pivoted back towards MSS after we get through the launch of BookUSD. And I am continuing to compound in this position, waiting for, the next developments and next exciting, parts of Mintstake Share's history. I love this platform. It pays up beautifully. You just saw there I had $80 to compound, $40 to claim. It's every day. Just makes passive income, which I use for my life. And that's important for me because I don't want to, can't we just rely on, your day job these days in this current market climate? No, you can't. You need passive income. Passive income is what we'll be definitely talking about en masse today because that gets us involved with Book, right? So where to start? Let's start here. So this is the chart for Book. We can see that it went on an absolute lovely tear that we were covering last week, up 300%. Of course, nothing can go up forever, like cold November rain, and came down a bit. Not much, actually. Pretty strong pump, to be honest. Came down 20% from a 300% pump. And now we are waiting, to see how it's going to perform once lending comes out. What can you do? You can take your book, you can come over to this website, BookUSD. Now let's check out this first. This is the landing page for Book. It explains everything that happens. Essentially, this is a 3-token ecosystem. You have Book, the meme coin. You have BUS, the share token. You have BUSD, the stablecoin token. Now, you can deposit Book, your meme coin. You can borrow stable coins. Yeah, right. Decentralized borrowing protocol on BNB chain, offering interest-free loans and stability for the Book ecosystem. Why be interested in this? Good question. It provides unique benefits for Book holders. And if you're not a bookie, then what are you doing? It's the best meme coin on Binance Smart Chain, in my opinion. It's got the best utility. It's got the best growth. It's got the best dev. So you should be looking into it for sure, right? Because what other meme coin has a lending protocol attached to it? None. That's the answer. So 0% interest loans. Borrow BUSD against your book without paying any interest ever, right? You know, you go to a bank, you say, can I borrow some money? They say, yeah, sure, have some money, right? And then you end up paying back plus more for a long time. You don't get interest on your borrowing of BUSD with your book, but there is a small fee. I believe it's 4%. Secure collateral. Your book tokens are safely stored in smart contracts. Efficient borrowing. You can borrow up to 50% of your collateral's value in BUSD stablecoins. So if you have $200 worth of book, you can borrow up to $100 with that. But that's risky, but you can do that. Stability pool rewards. Earn BUS token and benefit from liquidations by depositing BUSD into the stability pool. That's where this third token comes in, BUS, right? So BUS is already out. If you're interested, this is it. It did launch a few days ago, 2 days ago, and it has been trading pretty steadily, actually. It has a market cap of 115,000 and liquidity of 73,000. It is currently $1.15. Have I bought it? I have not bought BUS. I'm actually going to be working another strategy, but I do know a lot of people who did buy BUS. And their idea is they're going to immediately or already are staking their BUS tokens to take advantage of the launch of BookUSD, which is launching again on Thursday, April 24th, 6 p.m. UTC, okay? You can see it here, BUS token staking. So you can actually already stake in here. So you could buy BUS on PancakeSwap. You can just take the thing here. Yeah, BUS there, buy, right? You just buy it. Right there, you see that? See that there? Buy. You can buy your BUS and then stake it right now. What's going to happen is when this launches, just to get ahead of myself a little bit, right? This is what some people are doing. When it launches, people will be taking their book, right? So for example, I'm going to take 50,000 book in theory, right? I'm going to put it in and I'm going to borrow 100 BUSD with my 50,000 book, right? That will give me BUSD. When this happens, 4% of that BUSD will be going into the BUS token staking. That will be paid out to BUS token stakers. So depending on how many people are staking BUS, that will be broken up and given to them. They also, I believe, earn the book token as well, I think. You can also earn this BUS token though, and that's where I come in, right? So I'm going to borrow my BUSD and I'm going to get $100 for that, right? Because I don't want to sell book. I want to sell book through the ecosystem. So what I'll be doing then is I'll be taking my 100 BUSD and I'll come into the second pool, which is called the stability pool, which is extremely important for stability of the ecosystem, right? What this happens here is we would take that and I'd then take this 100 book and I'd put it in the stability pool. And at the moment, the APR is 24,533, but no one's in here yet. So of course, this will come down. We've seen this as high as 5,000. We've seen it as low as like 200% APR. It's always pretty high though. And what you earn in here is you earn BUS tokens as reward for adding stability to the protocol, but you also earn book token because some crazy people are going to be, for example, putting in 50,000 book and thinking, you know what, I'm going to borrow $200. 227, there we go, 228. Yeah, that's it. Right? That's max. 227 on 50,000 book at the moment, right? If I borrowed this, it would only take book to slip slightly into, right, a down day, and I would get liquidated. That means all of my book is gone. Where does it go? It goes to the stability pool and the people in the stability pool staking. that's where it goes, right? Now, there was problems in Moon Yield because of this, because Moon Yield used Mintstake Share. Remember that one? Mintstake Share, right? You see, I'm like earning Mintstake Share tokens all the time. Yeah, just made $1 while talking to you. And the problem with that was when using the Book Moon Yield system instead of using Book, because people were continually generating more and more MSS, they could easily just keep adding to their troves. And this led to some bad actors coming in to Moon Yield and trying to liquidate everyone by dumping the price. And this led to people, of course, getting liquidated from their trove. And then the stability pool stakers got that MSS. Then they sold it and the price went down. Then they sold again and sold again. This is called evil asshole looping, right? And of course, opening this platform again with Book and not fixing these problems wouldn't be very smart. So there have been some big changes made to BookUSD to try and ensure that this doesn't happen again. So why should you choose Book? Let's continue. Hopefully you understand how it works now. I went a bit off tangent there, didn't I? Right. So how does it work? You connect your wallet, you deposit your Book tokens, you borrow the BUSD, you manage your position in whatever way you want, right? Let's talk about the safeguards. Protocol-controlled TVL limits. Yes, there's limits now. There were no limits on Moon Yield. It was just a lending protocol on steroids or maybe crack, and it just went mental, right? Our system implements maximum global TVL, total lock value, limits to reduce market impact and protect the protocol from potential overexposure to Book tokens. This is dynamically adjusted based on market conditions, right? So the TVL, that means how much can be deposited into troves and how much BUSD can be borrowed, is controlled now by the protocol, right? There's a per wallet borrow limit. So each individual wallet can only borrow so much. To prevent concentration risk and ensure fair distribution of available BUSD, our protocol restricts the maximum amount a single wallet can borrow, adjustable by governance to adapt to changing needs. This is really important. This is the most important one. Because what happened in Moon Yield, actually we can probably just look at Moon Yield and then I'll explain it a little bit easier if it's still up. Because what happened was pretty wild, right? See, Moon Yield's closed. This is Moon Yield, by the way. The site, by the way, looks great, the new site. What happened was that people were staking into this here stability pool, right? But what was also happening was there were a lot of people who were just decided that they didn't want to borrow MUSD. They just wanted to buy it. So they just bought loads of MUSD, put it in the stability pool, and other people were just borrowing MUSD. Well, and they were actually borrowing it instead of buying it and then just selling the MUSD. This led to having a kind of a monopoly on the stability pool where too many people were just in there to sell all the MSS to try force liquidations, and not enough people who were actually depositing MSS as collateral were using it. And the ones who deposited the MSS collateral were the ones in the end that lost out, right? So what has happened with these new advancements is that there's a per wallet borrow limit, right? So that means there can't be that huge amount of Book token in the platform if the amount of MUSD that's been borrowed isn't high enough. Meaning that we can't just have people who just buy the BUSD stablecoin and get in the stability pool to try and liquidate people, because if that happens, then they just lower the borrow limit and they just don't get enough liquidation value for their purchases, and this will dissuade them from even trying this strategy. Because why would you take the risk, right, of like buying loads and loads of a stablecoin to put it into a platform, right, which is going to raise the price of the stablecoin quite quickly? It went from like $1 to $1.40, 50, right? So you're buying 50% more than you should be to try and liquidate people. But what if there's just not enough juice inside of the ecosystem to make it, worthwhile? So this is a really good touch. Adjustable parameters, various parameters within the BookUSD protocol can be tweaked by governance in order to facilitate safer borrowing and adapt to changing market conditions. So this is also great because the original Moon Yield didn't really have any parameters which could be adjusted, which is a beautiful thing. It's just put on the blockchain and then is unadjustable, right? And it just lives or dies by the sword. But in the end, it died by the sword, right? So that's Book. So I am going to use this, but some things I'm not going to be doing. So for me, what am I going to do? On launch, I'm going to take about 50,000, maybe 100,000 Book. I'm going to deposit it in, and then I can borrow probably $300, right? With a collateral ratio of 300%, I'm quite happy with that, right? So I'm going to borrow 300 BUSD. I'm going to stake all of it into the stability pool. I'm going to earn BUS token. Then I will probably do a 50-50 split where I sell half the BUS token and I deposit half the BUS token. And I'm going to see how it goes with it, okay? Now, I'm going to be pretty, I'm also quite nervous because of what happened with Moon Yield. So that's why I'm taking quite a conservative approach to this. Other people, though, are taking different strategies. One strategy, of course, is you can just buy all of the BUS token you can possibly find right now on the market, buy, right? And then get it all in and try to take advantage of the fact that all of this book token will be flowing into BookUSD, right? And with the 4% fee all going to the BUS token staking, right? That means that there is a lot of stablecoins to be earned, right, on those first initial days. But my thinking is, as soon as BUS token staking starts paying out, so will the stability pool. The stability pool is paying out an APR flow of BUS token. Generally, what happens with tokens which have high emissions is that they begin to go lower in value because the circulating supply goes up. The buy pressure will have already kind of happened because the big payment from BUS token will have already been paid in. So therefore, I'm not going for that kind of risk strategy. But can see why people are, because they could maybe ROI 10 to 30% of their initial BUS buy value in the first day. So which is pretty good, right? So that's the strategy. The other strategy, of course, is to just buy BUSD as soon as it lists and try to get it for close to $1 as possible, because of course the more people that are buying BUSD coin off of PancakeSwap instead of borrowing it are going to push the price up very fast, right? The problem there is, of course, that if the liquidity isn't super thick, people are going for all these buys with BUSD, that will push the price up really fast, and then you're buying at premium priced BUSD to put in the stability pool. And generally, an asset which is being pushed up from buy pressure on launch will probably come back down over time as more people will start to put more book in, they will probably borrow the MUSD, and some people are going to start selling that BUSD, right? So I'm also not doing that strategy, but again, it's a pretty good strategy. Some whales I've watched on chain on BSC scan they cleaned up with this, but other whales who tried to do this strategy also lost out in the end as well. So it's a high risk, high reward strategy. Buy BUSD, get it in there, buy a thick bag, right? Buy like 10K, throw it in there, and then start earning very high APR and a lot of the BUS token. Maybe sell that or use it in the ecosystem, and also they're going to start picking up liquidations. But because of these new regulations, will they get that much? Interesting strategy, right? So I'm taking the simple strategy. I'm going to put my book in. I'm going to borrow out. I'm going to put it in a stability pool. Then I'll do a 50-50 split. Any liquidations I get of book, then I'm going to start using in the tools which book offer, right? Because this isn't just what it's all about. Book is a meme coin, of course. Book goes up and down with value. It's only $1.4 million market cap. Very small market cap coin still, right? And this means also that there's going to be really high trading volume on book. Think about it. People are going to be buying and selling book a lot because they want to, check out and try out this new lending platform, which no meme coin's ever had, right? That's cool, right? On top of that, there will also be added buying and selling of book, especially possibly selling of book, because of the stability pool liquidations coming in. If there is a big liquidation event, then we're going to see a lot of people getting book and potentially a lot of people selling book, right? And that will add to trading volume, right? We also have the whole idea that people, just want to hold book and they want to try DCA more into book, build a bigger trove. If this does work out really well, we're going to see more buying of book to use this really cool and successful lending platform, which will add to volume as well. So with all this volume on book, today the volume is 30K. It's pretty good volume and is growing. Now, what you can do with volume is you can farm volume, and that's what I'll be doing. So if I come into earn from LP, there's two ways to earn from volume with book, by the way. This is the kind of traditional way, right? You can farm concentrate liquidity pools. I've made 2 so far. So this one at the moment is paying 50% APR. That's on a pretty low volume day for Book, 30K. It's been up to like 80K before launch. And it's active at the moment. It's running at 51%. This one I made a slipped out position briefly, and this one was up much tighter range, 15%, 50% range, and this was printing about 200% APR. And that's kind of, this is on a break. It's having a break. If, you know, Book starts to perform better than BNB once again, then we'll see that raise up, it'll go back in range, and then I'll start earning there. So these are 2 that I'm using at the moment. I'll probably continue to add more and kind of ladder my liquidity positions with Book. And then I have the V3 liquidity tools, which are available with Book as well. And these are really cool. So what do these do? These allow you to sell out your Book position without having to actually sell. You make a liquidity range with your Book. So I can create one here. I went over this the other day, right? So say I take 10,000 Book token, right? And I have to select my range. Do I want a 2x on my Book? Do I want a 5x? Do I want a 10x, right? If Book does a 10x for my 10,000 Book buy in here into liquidity pool, what would happen is I would actually, after 10x on Book, I would get out the other end with BNB, fully 100% BNB from this, because what's happening is as the price of Book is performing better in comparison to BNB, it's actually swapping all of my Book into BNB, right? This is like an opposite play on what I'm doing here, where I basically want to keep the pair in range and earn the APR. What's happening with this one is that the range is so wide, but over time it's swapping all of my Book token into BNB as the price of Book goes up. And you can see I've had one of these already. I got $530 out on that big Book pump because I made a range of, I think this was like 3x or something like that, and it completed, and I came out the end with 8 BNB, right? Here I have a couple others. This one is going to get me 1.6 BNB. I do have pending fees here as well, so it's earning fees. I've earned 0.01 BNB and 870 Book because they are in range, right? Actively earning in range, but wide ranged, right? This one I'll get another 2.4 BNB. It's earning as well, 700 Book, 0.01 BNB. This one will get me 3 BNB. It's also actively earning a much wider range. At the moment, 46,000 is in Book and 0.2 is in BNB. Here we have another one. This is also, so they're all actively earning in range. They're earning me Book token, they're earning me BNB. And at the end of them all, as Book does continue to go to $1, which it will, then I'll get BNB out. Lots of different strategies here then to do. Of course, the other strategy that people are doing is they're just coming to PancakeSwap. They're going to trade, they're going to swap, and then they're just taking a BNB and they're just buying Book. Boom. That's another thing you can do. Buy, hold, right? Those who hodl also win on meme coins, sometimes more than anybody else. You know, we like to play around a lot, tinker around, learn about DeFi, but sometimes the simplest strategy can be the strongest one. So I'm pretty excited to see how the launch of BookUSD goes. Fingers crossed for a great month going forward. I think if we can do a month with BookUSD with no big liquidation event, then we're going to be pretty set that it is a solid platform for using in DeFi, and it should onboard a lot more users and holders of Book token. Okay, I've been Crypto Mischief. Hope you enjoyed this catch up. I'll see you tomorrow for the live spaces with Sui Accelerator, Sui Builders Program, and, you know, be good to each other. And as always, don't get wrecked.